We've all done turkey sandwiches and turkey soup, but today I'm going to show you creative uses for all your Thanksgiving leftovers, even the pumpkin pie. First, we'll do the dark meat with a recipe from Kenji Lopez Alt. Take your turkey legs and thighs and add them to a pot with roughly chopped onion and orange, a bay leaf, a few crushed garlic cloves, and some dried oregano. Then fill the pot with water or stock to almost cover the meat. Cover the pot and bring to a boil, then reduce the heat and simmer for 45 minutes to an hour until the meat easily falls off the bone. Remove the turkey, get rid of the skin, and shred the meat using a couple forks or your hands. Then heat a couple tablespoons of oil over high heat in a cast iron pan or griddle. Add the shredded turkey and let it cook without touching it until the bottom gets brown and crispy. Then flip and stir it around and continue cooking until all sides are as crispy as you'd like. Season with salt to taste. Then try these turkey carnitas in a taco with some cotija cheese, pickled onions, and a spicy jalapeno cilantro sauce. This combination was so good, so I used the same ingredients on a pizza with some additional mushrooms. Next, we'll transform your sweet potatoes. If yours have marshmallow on them, I suggest you scoop that off to get just the sweet potatoes, then mash them up if they aren't already. Form the sweet potato mash into balls about a ½ inch to an inch diameter, depending on how many you want to end up with. I'm going with larger balls because we have a smaller crowd today. In one bowl, beat 2 eggs, and in another bowl, add panko breadcrumbs and season with salt and pepper. Then coat your sweet potato balls first in the egg and then in the panko, using one hand for wet and one hand for dry. Once they're all coated, stick these in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes to firm up slightly, and begin heating a quart of peanut oil until it reaches 350 Fahrenheit. While the oil heats, we'll also make a spicy dipping sauce. Combine a 1/4 cup each of mayo and sour cream, 1 tablespoon sriracha, 1 teaspoon each paprika and garlic powder, salt and pepper, and the juice of half a lime. Taste and adjust seasoning as needed. When the oil heats up, add 2 to 3 sweet potato balls at a time and fry for 5 to 8 minutes until golden brown on all sides. Salt them immediately when they come out of the oil, then enjoy with the spicy dipping sauce. While we've got the frying oil out, let's make some mashed potato egg rolls. Combine leftover mashed potatoes, chopped cooked bacon, thinly sliced green onion, a beaten egg, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Go easy on the salt since you hopefully salted your potatoes well the first time. Fill your egg roll wrapper with a few tablespoons of the potato mixture, add a stick of cheddar cheese, then cover the cheese with the potatoes so it sits right in the middle. Folding the egg rolls is easy. Fold up the bottom around your filling, fold in the sides, then dip your finger in water, run it along the edge of the top section, and fold the top section down. Set it on a plate or sheet tray, seam side down while you fill the rest. Reheat the peanut oil to 350 Fahrenheit and add 2 to 3 egg rolls at a time. Fry for 5 to 10 minutes until golden brown and crisp on all sides. These things are addicting and they're a hit with kids. You can dip them in the same spicy dipping sauce or a simple sour cream and chives. By the way, if you haven't gotten my Advent devotional yet, go download that at advent.hungrytheologian.com. Now let's turn the cranberry sauce into a crowd-pleasing dip. Combine a cup of shredded white cheddar cheese, a cup of cream cheese, and a cup of leftover cranberry sauce. Add to a greased baking dish and cook at 375 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes until melted and gooey. While that's going, let's make some crostinis for dipping. Take any leftover bread or rolls and slice thinly. Lay them out on a baking sheet and coat with olive oil and flaky salt. Then into the oven for 5 to 10 minutes until crisp. A great use for stuffing is this stuffing waffle recipe from Joshua Weissman. Mix your leftover stuffing with 2 beaten eggs, freshly grated Parmesan, and some white cheddar left over from the cranberry dip. Add to a waffle iron and cook until crispy. These things are simple and delicious. Top with gravy, a fried egg, and some flaky salt. The turkey breast meat is getting shredded for my favorite dish, the buffalo turkey nachos. My homemade buffalo sauce starts with sautéing diced onion, carrot, and celery until softened. Add 1 cup of Frank's Red Hot sauce, blend this until smooth, then while the blender is running, add 6 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon at a time. Mix this with your shredded turkey and season to taste with salt and pepper. Fill a baking dish with tortilla chips and top with your buffalo turkey and some shredded cheddar cheese. Bake at 350 Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 minutes until the cheese is melted, then add whatever toppings you'd like. I'm going with some sour cream, guacamole, and pickled onions. If you have leftover Brussels sprouts, then you're in for a treat. Thinly slice your Brussels sprouts, spread in an even layer on a baking sheet, and bake at 425 until crispy. Watch them so they don't burn. Toss in a bowl with some flaky salt, then top your nachos. You're gonna wanna make Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving just so you can try this. Our most exciting food, like buffalo turkey nachos, is just a shadow of what we'll one day enjoy at God's heavenly banquet. But when we eat good food, when we get creative with flavors, our meals can become a signpost pointing to that future banquet. This is also one of the things that the Eucharist does. It affirms that there's no opposition between the physical and the spiritual, because it's through this physical meal that we're united to Christ. The Christian hope isn't for the escape of this physical world to some otherworldly heaven. The central Christian hope is for the resurrection of the body and the union of heaven and earth. And the Eucharist is a sign of this hope. When we eat the bread and drink the wine, we look back to Christ's death and resurrection, and we look forward to the marriage supper of the Lamb. When we're formed by the Eucharistic feast week after week, it makes every meal we share an occasion for celebration and hope in God's coming kingdom. And that's why you should eat good food, like a pumpkin pie milkshake. For one serving, blend 1 slice of pumpkin pie, 3 to 4 scoops of vanilla ice cream, and a 1/4 cup of milk. And of course, top it with freshly whipped cream. If you haven't seen it yet, check out my other video on the Eucharist, where I show you how to make a low-stress Thanksgiving feast.